Hello, fourth graders. So here is the equivalent fractions paper that you're going to find in your top secret envelope, which you should not have opened that before Monday morning. How many of you can say you waited? I hope all of you did. So you should find this. We're going to do some of this together, and then you'll get to finish it on your own. Now, I am going to email the answers to parents. So make sure, parents, that you check your emails so you can check your kids' work and see if they're doing this, okay? They're doing it the right way. So equivalent fractions. We've got some pictures here to help us try to solve these equivalent fraction problems. Now, if you do get stuck, remember that there's so many resources on that Bitmoji classroom page. So don't stress out. Don't worry if you don't know how to do it. Just look at some of your resources. Ask your family members. Maybe a big brother or big sister could help you out with this, or maybe somebody at your house can help you out with this. Equivalent fractions. Fill in the models and the missing numbers to create equivalent fractions. This is a review for us, so you should be able to remember that equivalent fractions means that they are equal. So we're making equal fractions. If something is 3/4, notice that 3 of the fourths are shaded in here. What would that equal with 12ths? So if you remember our equivalent fraction rule, if you take another fraction and multiply it by the same number, you're going to be able to get an equivalent fraction. So how you could solve this is you could think to yourself, what can I multiply times 4 to get me to 12? So hopefully some of you are thinking times 3. 4 times 3 gives me 12. So if I do 3 times 3, that should give you 9. So you'll be able to look here, see how there's this fourth is now divided into thirds. Do you see the connection there? So you'll be able to shade it in, make that picture match this picture over here, and that will equal 9/12, because 3/4 and 9/12 are equivalent fractions. So you could be doing this paper right along with me. So you're shading in 9/12 because 9/12 is equivalent to 3/4. Now that's one of our ways to find equivalent fractions. Do you remember also using our multiplication chart? So you can kind of double check yourself here, and you can look and see, pretend that there's a fraction line in between the 3 and the 4. So 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. And looky there, it's also equivalent to 9/12. So you can either use the equivalent fractions rule to help you solve this, or you could use your multiplication chart, or you can make sure that the picture matches. So that's how we'll do the first one. We'll go ahead and do the second one together also. So I'm looking here at my picture. I notice that this is divided into fifths and that this is divided into tenths. That kind of gives you a little bit of a clue there, doesn't it? How would I get from fifths to tenths, or from 5 to 10? And if I look here at my picture, this is divided in half. This fifth is divided into half. So Bizarro World fractions, remember we've talked about how fractions are Bizarro World. What's big is little. When we're dividing, we're actually multiplying here. We took this fifth and we divide it in half to get tenths, but we show it here by multiplying. So 3 times 2 is 6. So 3/5 shaded in is the same as 6/10, because we took our fifth and we divided it into half. So you could be following right along here and shading in 6/10. Now let me make sure I've done that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've shaded in 6/10 and my pictures do match. So 3/5 is equivalent to 6/10. So I could check here by my picture. I did the multiplication, the fraction rule there. equivalent fraction rule. I can also double check here on my multiplication chart. So I have 3/5, and if I go here, well, there it is. 6/10 is equivalent to 3/5. So let's go to here for number 3. Fill in the missing value to make both fractions equivalent. Remember that fancy word equivalent just means equal. Let's make them equal. So we can use that same strategy. I look here at my halves, 1/2 is equal or equivalent to how many 12ths. So I can think to myself, what do I need to multiply 2 by to get me 12? And you should be thinking in your head, 2 times 6 equals 12. So now I could take my numerator and I can multiply it by 6. And you should be asking yourself right now, yeah, 6 is half of 12. That's how you can double check yourself with halves. Okay, so here for number 4, we have 3/7 is the same as 6, and what should our denominator be? So you should be thinking to yourself, what could I multiply by 3 to get me 6? I hope you're saying 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Now I could do 7 times 2. And I hope you're writing down 14. Now you can double check it again with your multiplication chart. So you go here to 3 and you go to 7. 3/7 is equivalent to 6/14. You can always double check yourself on your multiplication chart. Now this one, when I was working on it earlier, it kind of tripped me up a little bit because I was like, okay, 4/5. What can I multiply by 5 to get me 20? I hope you're saying 4. 5 times 4 is 20. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 4, and that's 16. That's that perfect square number you should be remembering. Let's go here to number 6. We've got 5/8. What can it be equivalent to? So you should be thinking to yourself, what could I multiply by 5 to get me 10? I think you should be thinking 5 times 2 equals 10. So then I'm going to take my 8 times 2, and you should be thinking that it's 16. This next section, which fraction is equivalent to 2/5? So you could use your multiplication chart to help you with this, or you could think to yourself, what could I multiply by 2 to get me to these numerators? Well, I know it's not going to be 5/8 because there's nothing I can multiply by 2, a whole number, that's going to get me to 5. So I'm going to, can't do that either because this is an even number and that's an odd. There's no whole number that I can multiply by 2 to get me to 9. So I'm going to be looking here and here because those are even numbers. What could I multiply by 2? Well, if I multiplied 2 by 2, I would get 4. And if I multiplied 5 by 2, I would get 10. So that helps me to see that 2/5 is the same as 4/10. Okay, I'm going to let you do number 8 on your own right now. So try to solve 8 on your own, and then we'll see if your answer matches mine. Don't be scared. Think really hard. Think really hard. 6 is half of 12. Which one of these is also the numerator's half of the denominator? It's kind of a trick question. Do you see a fraction where the numerator is half of the denominator? 2 is not half of 3. 1 is not half of 6. 3 is not half of 4. Does that help you out? Do you see one that's half? Yeah, 7 is half of 14. So 6/12 is equivalent to 1/2. And so is 7/14. It's also equivalent to 1/2. So that's why these two fractions are equivalent to each other. Okay, we got a good picture model here for number 9. Which fraction is equivalent or equal to or the same as 2/12? Looks like these two are divided into 6. These are divided, that's divided into 8s, it looks like. How many of you are feeling that it's A? Isn't 1/6 equivalent to 2/12? Because if I took 1/6 and I timesed it by 2, the numerator and the denominator, 1 times 2 is 2, 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, go ahead and try to do number 10 on your own, and we'll see if your answer matches mine. Which fraction is equivalent to 1/5? Well, none of these are divided into fifths, but is there one that's maybe divided into tenths? Because we know how well fifths and tenths work together. This is divided into tenths. So if I have 2/10, wouldn't that be equivalent to 1/5? Now we got a story problem. You know they're going to give us story problems, right? Elena has jogged 9 laps. She wants to jog a total of 12 laps. The shaded region of which figure models the number of laps that Elena has jogged out of the total number that she wants to jog. So it sounds to me like she wants to jog the whole of 12 laps. That's the whole, that's the denominator. And then she's jogged 9 of the 12 that she wants. So it sounds to me like they're describing the fraction 9/12. That's 3/4. I don't see anything divided into 12s. They must be trying to trick us here. So which one of these is an equivalent fraction to 9/12? Give you a second to think about that, and we'll see if your answer matches mine. Are you leaning towards A? Because 3/4, using our equivalent fractions rule, do you see my mistake I just did? What should we change that to? We need to make it a 3. I hope your paper isn't as sloppy as mine. Can we just say, I hope your paper is not as sloppy as mine? 3 times 3 is 9, not 3 times 2. And 4 times 3 is 12. So yes, those are the equivalent fractions. You guys feel good about the first page? I'm going to do the Mystery Dog thumbs up. What do you think? Am I doing it right? Good job. Good job. Let's go on to the back together. What do you say? So equivalent fractions on the back. Oh, you didn't know there was a back side? Yeah, there's a back side to this paper. But at least we get to do it together. All right, so here we have fill in the first model to represent the fraction given. So this is 1/3. So I'm filling in this model to represent 1/3. Then write an equivalent fraction for each fraction and prove it with a model. So this is the picture where we're going to prove it with that model. So here I'm going to shade in 1/3. Go ahead and shade that in with me. Now, you could do anything really. You can multiply this by any number. Because whatever you multiply the 1 by, the numerator, and the 3, the denominator by, as long as you multiply them the same number, whatever you come up with over here, it's going to be equivalent. But let's just keep it easy. What do you say? What if I multiply it times 2? 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So now, instead of being in thirds, I'm going to be changing this to sixths. So how to make a sixth is you take a third and you divide it in half. Take a third and divide it in half. Take a third and divide it in half. So now, I'm going to shade in 1/6, which is half right there. And now I'm going to shade in the other sixth. So 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. And our models represent that. All right, so let's think about fifths. Let's think about fifths. What if I multiplied this 2 times 4? 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 4 is 20. So 2/5 is equivalent to 8/20. So our 2/5 model is right here. So I'm going to shade in 1/5. I'm going to shade in the 2/5. So now each of my fifths I'm going to have to divide into 4 pieces. 1, there's 2, there's 3 and 4. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3 and 4. You know how I am with my art skills, right? So I'm going to be shading in 8/20 here. So 2/5 is the same as 8/20. Okay, so let's do our 6, and let's do this times 3. Okay, so 4/6. Shade that in to make that model match. Now, I want you to do this one on your own right now, and then we're going to see if you get the same answer that I do. In case you're wondering, I have a new friend here. It seems I have a fly swarming around my fraction page. I think he's trying to learn fractions too. What do you think? All right, so hopefully you did 4 times 3, which is 12, and then 6 times 3, which is 18. So what you would do here is you would divide these 6 up Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I did it right. I thought I miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, all right. So here you would take this and you're going to divide this 6th up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, there's 12. I just miscounted. So 12/18. These flies are distracting me. I hope they're not distracting you. Feel good about that? Okay. Ooh, are the fractions below equivalent? Are they equal or are they not equal? This means the same as. This means not the same as or not equal. I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of time here to do this, and then we'll see if your answers match mine. While you're doing that, I'm going to find a fly swatter for our new friends. I hope you're thinking that this is not equal. Yeah? Because if I took 2 times 3 to get the 6, 8 times 3 would not be 12. I hope you're thinking that these are equal. So these are the methods to help us find out equivalent fractions. We can use our number chart. We can do our fraction rule or our multiplication fraction rule. There's another way that we'll learn after you get back from Thanksgiving break. Maybe some of the parents out there know what I'm talking about. Starts with a C. Cross multiply. Do you remember that? Cross multiplication. We'll talk about it. That's something to look forward to. So hopefully you're thinking about 3 times 5 gives you 15. And then 8 times 5 gives you 40. So yes, those are equal. And I hope you're looking here knowing that no way. Because if I took 1 times 10 to get me 10, if I took 6 times 10, that'd be 60. So hopefully you're saying to yourself, that is not equal. Okay, we got 1/6. 1/6. How many 36th would that be? Right? Did you have 6/36? I bet you did. You guys are probably getting really good at these by now. Okay, go ahead and solve this one and we'll see if you get the same answer I get. 7 times 2 equals 14. So then 8 times 2 equals 16. How about 5? Should probably start with the denominator. 9 times something would give you 27. If you can't remember, you can always use this. So 9, oh, there's 27. 9 times 3 equals 27. Do you remember how to use these? 9 times 3 is 27. So 15 times 3 would give me 15. right? Sound good? Okay, there's the Mystery Doug thumbs up again. Good job, guys.